The next on the floor will be the Honourable, the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 11 days ago, Mr. President, you were ready to quit. Your mind was made up, the speech was written, and you had resigned yourself to resign. And this wasn't some noble sacrifice to your country. No, you were going to resign from office because the alternative was unthinkable to you and potentially fatal to your party. The alternative would mean answering questions before a committee of Parliament about the large stockpile of money that you had hidden away in your farmhouse. Money that you claim was nothing other than a Christmas Day buffalo shopping, combined with some lax admin and poor bookkeeping. But let me assure you, Mr. President, not many people in this House, and even fewer people out there, believe that you have been truthful about the origin of the money, why it spent 2 months hidden in your sofa, what you'd intended to do with it, or why you tried for 2 years to cover up evidence that it ever actually even existed. Those questions all remain unanswered. And it was the prospect of having to answer them under oath that convinced you to write your resignation speech. That is how damaging the Phala Phala truth is to you personally, and clearly also to your party. And it was only when your ANC comrades reminded you about how the ANC normally deals with these inconveniences, how easily the ANC is willing to abuse its majority in this House to crush any notion of accountability, that you then decided to cancel your resignation. Satisfied that the protection of your caucus would make the questions simply go away, you decided then to step back into the ring. And of course, we've been here before, and not so long ago. We all sat in this House, debate after debate, vote after vote, and watched the ANC majority shield Jacob Zuma from half a dozen motions of no confidence and 1 impeachment vote. We had to watch an embarrassment as shameless MPs all nodded in agreement with the ridiculous Firepool video. Our Parliament became the laughing stock of the world as 250 grinning and heckling ANC MPs reduced this once august House into a mindless defender of the indefensible. And when Judge Zondo wrote his final report on state capture, he reserved his harshest words for the sellouts in Parliament, who so effortlessly trampled over their constitutional obligations and their oath of office in service of a corrupt president and his handlers. Never again, we were told in the wake of the Zondo report, never again would Parliament be declawed and disempowered as it was in those dark days. Not under this president who rode into town majestically on the promise of a new dawn and pledged to do things differently. And yet, here we are again. Then it was in Kandla, now it's Phala Phala. Then it was fire pools and cattle kraals, now it's couches stuffed with dollars. Then it was President Jacob Zuma, now it's President Cyril Ramaphosa. But it's exactly the same modus operandi. As long as you've got the numbers in Parliament, you can make any scandal go away. And if that's how you intend to vote today, in one unified shield against accountability and oversight, just like you did in the Zuma days, then shame on you. And President Ramaphosa, if that's what you expect and demand of your caucus, after everything we've been through in the wake of state capture and the Zondo report, then you, sir, are no different to your predecessor. So I ask that every member thinks carefully about what today's vote means. We're not voting to find a president innocent or guilty. We're not weighing up evidence to reach a verdict. That will only happen later. Today is about letting due process take its course. It's about acknowledging, as the authors of the report did, that there are big questions that remain unanswered, and that it can only be solved by an inquiry undertaken by this House. And that is the test before us today. Have we learnt anything from the past, or are we prepared to once again break our Parliament in defence of a leader who doesn't want to be accountable? Our country cannot afford the turmoil that will come with the President fighting for his political life and his skin. We don't have the luxury of time, and we're in trouble. We have an electricity crisis. We have a crime crisis with our citizens under daily attack. We have an unemployment crisis where 43% of our citizens, most of them under 30, cannot find a job. For 60 million South Africans, these crises are real. And we need a president with both hands on the wheel, both eyes on the road, and a head in the game. And so, honourable members, you do have a choice today. And the world is watching your decision. So I ask every member in the House today, remember your oath of office. Remember who you're meant to serve. And then vote in favour of adopting this report. Thank you.